Hey folks, this is Richard of Doomed Moviethon and Cinema Somnambulist. I'm here with another edition of the Moviethon vlog, which used to be the Vlog of Doom, but I'm going to assume that Vlog of Doom is taken by somebody out there, so it's going to be the Moviethon vlog from now on. Today I am going to talk about horror movie reference books and just some great horror movie books in general. I'm going to get started because once again I have a huge stack, so let's do this. First up is Sex and Zen and a Bullet in the Head. This is a really fun read if you're looking for a way into the gigantic world, the confusing world, the fabulous world of Hong Kong cinema. This is a great place to start. This is an easy book to just read really quickly and then go back and start writing titles down. I might read this again soon because I just really enjoyed it. It's got a little bit of everything, can't go wrong, and I think it's really cheap if you don't care about getting a used copy, which who cares about used books? I mean, seriously. Why was I just scratching my head? Paul J. Brown and Nigel J. Burrell. These are the Giallo scrapbooks 1 and 2, and their book Hispanic Horrors. These are fun little gems. I love the way they're laid out. A lot of great screenshots, a lot of good poster art. A little too light. I wish that they had waited to do these and made them longer. The Hispanic Horrors is really short. I don't know if these guys are working on anything new, if there's a Hispanic Horrors 2 or a plan to do a giant book on European cinema. I have no clue, but this is a decent start. They're a great way to find out about some rare titles that you were thinking of going out of your way to find, but maybe weren't sure. This will be the place to look. Next up is a classic, the Encyclopedia of Horror Movies. This is a fine book, especially for reference when you see something on cable or you see something you're thinking of renting. This is a pretty cool book to check out. It's in here by year, so it's pretty easy to find stuff. And of course there's an index in the back. If you know the title and not the year, it'll tell you where to go in more ways than one. What I don't like about this book is I disagree with almost all of the reviews. There's kind of a snotty tone to it, kind of a stuck-up, a little bit of an attitude that just permeates the book. So usually when I'm looking for something, if they say it's terrible, I'm going to watch it anyway. So keep that in mind. I mean, it's great reference and a decent read, but I highly doubt that you're going to just gel with this book opinion-wise and just fall in love with the authors. Let's move on. For some reason I have Volume 1 of DVD Delirium and Volume 3. No idea. I do know that I have a movie stub as a bookmark in DVD Delirium 3 for The Collector from August 9th of 2009, so you can tell the last time I was reading these. But these are really cool. It's a good way to find titles that slipped under the radar. I mean, these are really, really cool. Just DVD review after DVD review after DVD review. I will definitely be picking up Volumes 2 and 4 and 5 and however many of these they put out. And not too expensive. This says $24.95 on it, but used copy, once again, I don't care about used copies, so there you go. But who would part with that? Like, once you had it, wouldn't... forget it. It's Immoral Tales. Immoral Tales isn't quite a reference book. It's more of just a fun read about the kind of seedier side of European cinema. There's a lot about Jean Rollin and there's a lot about Jess Franco, which, as anyone following my blog knows, I am all about the Franco right now. There's a chapter on Jose Ramon Larraz in here. There's all kinds of cool stuff. It was one of those books that I got a long time ago and I didn't like. And then I pulled my head out of my ass and read it again, and I love it. I really love this book now. It's a lot of fun. It's got reviews, it's got articles, it's got interviews. It's cool. And the people behind this book really love what they're talking about. They really enjoy kinky, freaky European cinema. So check this one out. Okay, this to me is a classic. This is a book that didn't like really catch my fancy at first, but after going back and checking it out, I find this an essential resource. I'm talking, of course, about Spaghetti Nightmares. This has interviews with everybody. This has interviews with Argento, Claudio, and Dario. This has interviews with Lombardo Bava. This has interviews with Luigi Cozzi. This has interviews with Armando Crispino. This has interviews with Ruggiero Deodato. This has interview with Mimsy Farmer. This has an interview with Claudio Fragrasso. I could go on. Oh, I turn to the Umberto Lenzi page. Seething with disdain for his fellow directors. Yes. This, if you haven't seen this book, if you don't own this book, fix that right now. It is awesome. My only complaint about it, and the thing I have to warn you about, is the review section in the back is a pain in the ass for two reasons. One, all the titles are in Italian. There's no alternate American title for anything in here, so if you're looking for something specific, you're going to have the Italian title handy. So Internet Movie Database and this work well together. The second thing you need to know, the reviews are loaded with fucking spoilers. What? Why the reviews at the end of this book spoil everything? I don't know. And they might not all be written that way, but generally, read the first sentence or two and then skip to the end of the review and to see if it's worth watching. Somewhere in the middle is going to be a spoiler that will ruin the ending of the movie. And with Giallos, what is the point? You know, like, what were they thinking? Next, the first and foremost book on Giallo, Blood and Black Lace. This book kicks my ass. The only thing wrong with this book is the shitty binding. And it's not from me reading and rereading it again, which I have done. But no, this book started to fall apart the moment it came home. It has horrible, horrible binding. It's a British publication. It's a... I mean... As far as Giallos go, this is it. Reviews are great. The writing is good. The person, Adrian Luther Smith, is very enthusiastic about the subject, and he really does it justice. I would love to see a second edition of this, preferably a more expensive, thicker, nicely bound hardcover edition of this. I would pay out the nose for something like that. The only other Giallo book that I really recommend is La Dolce Morte by I think it's by Coven is his last name, and that's a great book, but that one is more academic, to say the least. It's a rough one to get through. So that one's more analytical. This one is what you flip through when you're trying to decide what bootlegs to buy. Dun 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 dun. Slipping into the slightly less essential but still really good Profondo Argento by Alan Jones. This is a good book on Argento. I will not call this a great book on Argento. I mean, it's really thorough. It goes up through... goes right up till The Card Player. And there's two problems with this book. One are the set visits. He actually has the original set visits, you know, because Alan Jones was able to go to travel to Italy and go onto the sets of the different Argento films, and he wrote these set visits, which are really misleading. You know, it's like, oh, this is going to be the greatest Argento film ever. It's going to be amazing. And then right after that is a review, and the review will just rip the movie a new one, how it's Argento at his worst. So you kind of have this weird, like, I don't know what, sycophantic versus hypercritical, because Alan Jones really rips a lot of the new stuff a new one, which sometimes is warranted and sometimes is not. It's still a cool book. You find out that Argento's a dick. You know, just taking credit for other people's works, stealing ideas, whatever. But that's the thing with Italian directors. They're real egomaniacs a lot of times. Did I mention Umberto Lenzi in this? Oh. No, she isn't here. You're welcome. Profondo Argento. A good read, but kind of take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of differing opinions between the writer. He differs with himself. Now, when it comes to us Fulci fanatics, you can't go wrong with Beyond Terror, the films of Lucio Fulci. I mean, this is just the be-all, end-all of Fulci books. I would be shocked if someone does anything this awesome for Mr. Fulci ever. This is by Stephen Thrower. Stephen Thrower is great. I love reading his stuff. This goes through every single Fulci movie. It doesn't... Well, okay, let me rephrase that. It goes through all of his genre pictures. The rock and roll films that he did early on aren't covered here, but all the horror, all the westerns, all the giallos, and of course the crazy horror from hell is all in here. And it really goes through each film, and he really digs with the less than stellar Fulci material and tries to find something good about it. He tries to look for stuff, if there are any redeeming qualities in a really bad Fulci movie, he's going to find it. This is just an excellent book. I've read this probably twice. It's just cool. If you're a Fulci hater, which there's a lot of people that do not like Lucio Fulci, see if your library can get this book for you and take a look. I mean, I was preaching to the choir for me, but there's a lot of great excuses in here why Fulci was awesome. Fulci was also an egomaniac too. I don't want everyone to think Argento was the only jerk in the world of Italian horror directors. Oh no, Fulci had his moments too. This book is so frickin' amazing that I have not read all of it yet. I read a little bit of it. I giggle like a schoolgirl. I shave my legs, and then I read a little bit more. This is so awesome. It's astonishing. He goes through all the great indie horrors that the United States has launched upon the world, and through director interviews and very detailed biographies and very detailed production stories. Really, I mean, if you have a film that you like that's in this book, you are going to be very happy. I mean, there's a review section in the back that isn't as thorough, but most of the book is just tons of information. Tons of it. I asked for this for Christmas. I put it right on my wish list, and my mother-in-law got it for me. And I'm still in her debt forever because this is an awesome book. It's a little steep in price, but don't hesitate. Do not hesitate to pick this book up. It's got Messiah of Evil in it. It's got Don't Go in the House. It's got Axe. It's got The Deadly Spawn. It's got the shit stuff I've never even freaking heard of. I think Deathbed, The Bed That Eats, is covered in here. Yeah, this is just a fucking badass book. Get it. Get it now. Don't hesitate.
My fancy.
Thanks for listening and watching my beautiful visage. I'm gonna go take a look at this zit on my beautiful visage. This ziat on my visage.